r/surviving infidelity stories. Wife sacrifices marriage for something I offered to give her. So not really sure how to start this. Not the most intelligent, nor smartest guy in world. Guess I'll just start talking. Me, 32 meters, and my 26F wife have been together for almost 5 years. Married for 2. We have a 2-year-old son and I have a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Starting April of 21, my wife has met a new friend at work, and normal friend things start. Normal things at first. Texting. Tagging each other on different social apps. Normal things. F is also in a relationship with a man, not sure if they're married. This is useful later. Starting in June I started noticing things. Wife would stay up late at night, all night, sometimes messaging, F. Wife spending lots of time with her. Her coming to my house. Wife going to their house. Again, nothing serious, figured it's just friend things. One night I noticed something odd. Wife and I are in bed, I'm asleep. I wake up and she hurries and hides her phone. I don't think anything of it. I come back to bed and kind or snore while I'm awake and she pulls up her phone and looks to delete some messages. I'm half asleep and don't pay any mind to it at that moment. During this time we start getting into fights more often. She's starting to go to house more often and they're starting to go places more often. It starts coming to a head around June 23rd. We get into a huge fight and it ends with the wife punching a hole in the wall and leaving to her house. That night, after more arguing and texts, I end up telling her I want a divorce and we can no longer have a safe and stable relationship for our child. We later figured this out. June 29th it blows up big time. I'm at work and receive a message from my wife. Wife says, F is coming to live with us because her partner kicked her out and she has no way to go. I tell wife this isn't happening at all. At this point I'm very suspicious of wife and F. I tell my wife, you and your girlfriend can finally do whatever the fuck you wanna do. I don't give a fuck anymore. She responds with, well, I love you. I always will and I'll always care about you because you're the father of my child. And that'll never change. I'm just gonna put it out there. F. Partner thinks, F, and I have something going on. He's jealous and controlling and she needed out. Sometimes feelings develop and it isn't anything that I can change now. After you threatened to divorce me, it made me realize you don't care as much about our relationship as I thought you did. I call her and she finally lets me know that her and F have had a physical affair and my suspicions are confirmed. Long story short, she tells me that it's because F was emotionally there for her during our arguments and fights. She also keeps stating she's just been selfish about the entire situation. And that my wife was always curious about females. I've offered in the past to invite a female into our room to fulfill the wife's fantasy, but she refused, stating she did not want to share me. I do my best to work through this, against my better judgment, and we start to mend our relationship. I'm not the best person on the planet. I say things. Mean, hurtful things. That I later apologize for. I always just had a feeling that something didn't add up. The story didn't quite sit right. They said played and touched a few times. And only had sex once. Still, it never added up. The messages, F, sent to my wife when they quit talking is nothing that a fling would send. Things talking about true love and her being the one. Messages that didn't make any sense in her phone and had no context. Leading me to believe most of them were deleted. Nice pictures in my wife's phone that I never received. Pictures where she has makeup on and all that. It comes to a here about a week ago. I reach out to F and her partner to offer an apology. I didn't feel they deserved one, but I felt I needed to do it as I said some pretty mean and hurtful things. I did it for myself more than anything. F and I start messaging and she actually fills me in on a lot of things that happened apparently. She then drops the bombshell and asks if her partner can call me. I accept the call and he tells me I cannot accept your apology because I also had sex with your wife. So basically my wife had sex with this couple. Multiple times because she wanted to try a woman. And her partner would not let F have sex with my wife unless he joined. I'm beyond destroyed. I feel like my wife sacrificed me, our son, and my daughter for something so selfish. And I offered to do it for her, but she refused because she did not want another person to touch me. I can't begin to process all this and have no idea where to go. Edit, I never thought so many of you would reach out to me as I'm suffering. And I thank you. But as this is getting attention, I feel I should edit this in. My wife has no contact with the F partner. Turns out, F and her partner have reached out to me with their own marital issues. They all admitted to having the threesome twice. Wife and F have admitted to touching and kissing. F claims it was more sex with just them two. Wife claims that F partner is too jealous and freaks out when they were alone with each other. Edit 2, I thank you all again for your harsh truths and kind words. I don't have anyone to confide in, which is why I'm reaching out to the internet, I guess. Edit 3, time for another edit as many have asked. Wife has done everything I've asked of her for reconciliation. She's told family members, activated GPS tracking, posted on socials, and just recently agreed to a post-nuptial agreement. Now for the top comments. She didn't want to share you, so she shared herself instead, and left you out of all the fun she was having. Fucked another guy, had a threesome all behind your back. Hit that eject button, now. This is what I'm battling. I told her I wanted a divorce and was taking our son. The next day she attempted suicide and I literally had to hold her down as the cops came to stop her from actually doing it. That suicide attempt, and the suicide note made me think she was actually sorry for her actions. I'm so confused. I'm sorry you're going through this. The best thing to do is start accepting that these things happened and happened for selfish reasons. No matter how you spin it. I think it's time to contact a lawyer and get yourself some individual therapy. Reach out to family if you have any you could turn to as a shoulder to lean on. Remember, you can always backtrack on the divorce at some point, not that you should, but you can never go back in time and leave someone sooner and gain back all the wasted time. That's the thing. I don't have any family. I moved away from my family so she could be closer to hers, as she didn't have family in the state we met. I've had therapy before in my teen years for issues I've had then, but it never helped in the slightest. It's why I'm so apprehensive to start now. That and finances. My heart broke as I read this. She sounds selfish and awful. You need to cut free and move on. That selfish desire to keep you to herself while she was allowing herself madness? Fuck her. Not literally. Cut loose. Rescind the apology. Say you can't believe you even offered an olive branch. Go cold. Go merciless. Cut out your love and replace it with that anger and carve her out of your life as best you can. She's probably still with them both by the sounds of it. Look after your own sanity first. Put as many barriers between yourself and her as you can. I am so sorry to hear this. You deserve better. Now for the next story. I am the hard worker in the relationship, the breadwinner, and I have just found out my wife cheated. I am 31 and so is my wife. We have been married for 10 years and we have 2 children together. 5, 11. I recently found out that she cheated on me with a 21-year-old. He was the one that confessed to me. I work for a tree company and need to be out of town for 4 to 5 days a week. On top of that, at the start of this year my dad passed down the rights of a small restaurant to me and my wife. One day I hired this young guy to work for me at the restaurant. I didn't notice or see anything suspicious at first, but I slowly started to catch on that he might be talking to my wife behind my back. One day I grabbed my wife's cell phone and she instantly grabbed it back. I told her to let me see it if she wasn't hiding anything. She took a couple seconds on her phone and gave me it, but I saw she had deleted her Snapchat app. I asked why and she claimed I made fun of her whenever she took pictures. I never did though. This was the first red flag. Then on 4th of July we closed up the restaurant and invited every employee to the lake. At the lake I saw my wife go up to the restroom and a couple minutes later the young man I had hired followed. I went up to see and saw that they were talking. I asked her why he came up here to talk to her and she said that he simply asked her a couple questions about his hours. This was second red flag. Mind you, my 2 daughters had just been taken to Mexico for the summer and to get some load off our shoulders. So fast forward 2 months and a couple more red flags along the way. The 21-year-old comes up and confesses that he had been having an affair with my wife for months now. He was drunk when telling me. He proceeded to give me details on how they had gotten a hotel room a couple of times and they would even kiss in the restaurant behind everyone's back. He even showed me some proof. I then proceeded to confront my wife and she stayed quiet. She then started lying, saying she did start talking to him, but the only reason she went to the hotels was because he threatened to tell me if she didn't. I tried to believe that, but I gave the young man a call and he told me she went willingly and even provided proof. Now I feel betrayed, my own wife of 10 years, doing this right under my nose, and I knew it, I just couldn't prove it. Every day I would see him clock in just to find out he was doing these things with my wife. Our 2 daughters, our house, our relationship, the hard work I have put in to support my family. I am devastated. Hurt, and I think I want to divorce her and take the kids. What should I do? Now for the top comments. Fire him, get a lawyer and divorce her. Does she show any remorse? It's a tough decision, I've been with her for a long time. Just a note, this comment has 220 downvotes. Lamau. Look. You know your options, everybody here is just giving you their opinion. I haven't been in a relationship as long as you have, so I definitely won't see it through the same lens you do. All I know is that, take the same context and applying it to my situation, I would be done. There's no way I'd be able to look at her and feel the same again after that, and it would be beyond anything a counselor could say or do. Your coworker told you, not your wife. If it was up to her, she would be up the charade. Hell, she even tried to in the face of evidence. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with that? Dude, get a lawyer, start gray rocking, protect your assets and get a therapist. The fact that she lied is the biggest issue. There is literally no reason to stay besides love, which, let's be honest, is just on your end. If you love your partner, you don't lie to them, you don't fuck other people, and you don't use them. She has used and lied and cheated on you. Get out now, save the relationship with your little ones, go to therapy and heal. Now for the next story. My cheating soon-to-be ex-husband plays the victim and blames me for his current situation. It's been almost 9 months since I discovered my STBXH affair. He left me and our daughter 2 weeks post-discovery. He went on vacation with the OW after our daughter's 6th B-day, and when he got home, moved to his new studio apartment at the city. I was a mess in the beginning. I couldn't eat or sleep. I cried all day and every day. My daughter found out about the affair because he exposed it. She also cried almost every night and would ask why Daddy keeps choosing OW instead of her when she is his kid. More time has passed and we are doing a lot better now. My daughter and I are in therapy, but it's still a work in progress. I filed for divorce in May with a signed legal separation agreement. Since then, I've worked on myself. I cleaned up my house, got rid of a lot of his stuff and still in process, redecorated and completed a lot of fixes both interior and exterior of my home. He is not in the title of this house, so it is completely mine now. It looks different and it feels like my space. My daughter started to go to in-person school and made new friends. I also kept her busy with family, so she is reassured that she is loved despite her dad leaving. I tell every day that I love her and I will never leave her. My STBXH has seen the changes in my home and has made comments like, "You are really trying to forget me." He was surprised when I served him papers. He said, "I didn't think we'd get divorced." It was like, really? You cheat, leave us for OW and didn't think anything would happen? Recently, he said to me that I kicked him out when he was the one who left to be alone. I went to his apartment to drop stuff off and the OW was there. So much for being alone. Anyway, he said that it is my fault that his life is the way it is. He is having trouble financially now. I know he is stressed about that, but this isn't my problem. He made his choices and I even gave him ideas on ways he can help himself. You see, when he was home, I took care of everything. We both have good incomes combined, but I made more and always cut stuff out for me so we can make ends meet. He kept spending whatever he wanted and I would pay off his credit card every month, usually worth $3-4K. I know this was my fault and I spoiled him, but his current financial situation is not my problem. Then he says something contradictory, like he thought leaving would make him happier, But he is miserable and the grass isn't greener. He sure loves to play pity party and I am sick of it. When I asked him to just be present for our child and step up, it's like pulling teeth. I ask him questions that require his response as a parent and he ignores them. It's always usually dealing with schedules for visitation and decisions on our daughter's activities or doctor visits. He doesn't give me any feedback when it is required, and when I ask again, he cusses at me. He just doesn't want to take any responsibility. It has gotten to the point where he threatens violence to my family now. It's just ridiculous, and he probably gets a power trip for choosing only to respond to what he wants. I encourage my daughter to spend time with her dad because I think it's important she has a relationship with him. Now, I am doubting this. I even went as far as allowing him to enter my home so they can spend time together in our playroom. I bend and try to accommodate so our child can be with her dad, but enough is enough. His behavior is getting worse and I need to put up more boundaries. He clearly doesn't respect me. He doesn't even acknowledge my presence when he enters my home. He doesn't say a word or even look at me because he doesn't know how to be an adult. He only talks to me via text. The other day, he flipped out when I said my brother is coming to my house on Saturday, which happens to be his visitation day. My brother is coming to help me with yard work. My STBX8 response was to cuss at me and say he would punch my brother out if he tries to get in between his visit. I told him that my brother won't, so go out to eat with our daughter instead. He has options. You see, he is jealous of my brother because my daughter spent time with him and her cousins where they did family activities together. My daughter loved it so much that she tells everyone how great Uncle and Auntie is. Not only does he think I brainwash our daughter, he thinks my family does too. So now comes the pity party where he says to the world he has no family. He doesn't even think about his own child, and it was him that casted everyone out, including his parents and our friends. He says that he doesn't have anyone, but the cognitive dissonance is so strong. The inability to take responsibility is ludicrous. I am backing away and putting up more walls around me because he is just being disrespectful and hostile. Enough is enough. Now for the top comments. He sounds like a small child who had some of his toys taken away. A true narcissist. I'm glad you escaped. Thank you. I didn't see it before, but yes, definitely selfish and covert narc behaviors. Hess not a healthy partner and he's not a healthy dad. If I were you, I would file for full custody. He's not doing his part as a father. You are the one who forced it out of him. I talked to my lawyer and I have sole custody. It's the best I can get right now. We have an agreement in place that he is supposed to get mental help for at least a year before he gets more time. I keep it at that for now. I will not extend overnights because he just isn't in the right place of mind. Of course he throws this back at me too. Stop this interaction. He's just drawing you and your daughter down. Move to a co-parenting app. Don't engage him at all. Simply focus on the business. Don't encourage him to be a father. You can't convince him of anything. The least interaction here is better for you and your daughter's life. All he does is attempt to engage you and draw down your emotions. He's clearly a narcissist who has no empathy for anyone else. He doesn't need to know anything about your personal life, and you don't need to know anything about his. Well, that's all for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, have an amazing day.